Good evening, everyone. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, welcome, everyone, this evening. We've got quite a few people out there. This evening we're going to start with the raise discussion. Is that correct? Anyone have any problems with that?
No, but could we ask the auditor real quick to kind of school us on what we've got and where we're at and money available and all that kind of business?
Should we get a roll call for the record?
Yeah.
No, that would help.
Well, we're all here, right?
We are.
Okay, Councilmember Bozick.
Here.
Councilmember Rivas.
Here.
Councilmember Conover. Present. Councilmember Graham.
Here.
Councilmember Justin.
Here.
Councilmember Larson.
Here.
And Councilmember Witten.
I am here.
7 present.
So now back to my question. Okay, where do we stand now, coming in, what do we have available, before we get into any other stuff that might be out there, what's left for general fund?
Okay, remember for the general fund, you still have to approve the 4D budget. So let's assume that you approve it as submitted. The general fund total is about $39.7 million.
Right.
And so if we want to get to the maximum that we think that we can get to, we have the wiggle room of $934,553.
All right, so that does not include any, obviously, any particular raises, that doesn't include any new people, none of that stuff that we haven't already.
Correct, that you haven't already decided.
And then, of course, that number doesn't include any money set aside for the insurance, is that correct? The $200,000 we were talking about?
No, it does not include that.
All right. But that does include the hit to from the IT department's increase,
Yes.
the 200-some thousand?
What we have from the discussion,
Yeah.
from the IT discussion, is that we only increased that equipment line item by about 30,000. Now, they had some other increases. They had maintenance agreement increase and that, but that equipment, we only increased it 30,000.
So the budget went up because we had made some changes throughout the year, and then,
The salary.
yes, so it did go up from the approved budget from last year. So my question is, this takes into account all of that?
Yes.
All right. Cool.
All right, thank you, Dan.
So can we maybe, Andy, talk for a moment, maybe we can sort of carve this pie up a little bit. And I know that Vicki has given us a proposal that includes things like flat raises and percentage raises across the board. Are we all of the same mind that we want to look toward the percentage raise?
Percentage rate.
I personally prefer the percentage.
I would agree with that. So we can disregard, I guess, the flat raise suggestions. So we're really moving places now. Okay.
All right, so, I mean, do we want to read the numbers? Do you guys want to kind of...
Well, we know a couple things, right? We know that to give a 3% raise would be about $679,359 hit to the general. We know that 3.5 would be $792,585, and we know that 4% would be $905,812. So we have to understand that as we embark upon this raise discussion, if, for example, if we were to give a 3%, or let's just round it easier, a 3.5%, you're just shy of $800,000, that leaves about $134,000. But again, that reduces the amount of money we have to set aside, or we can set aside for insurance. And I'm okay with that, except for I think we just need to understand that to some degree we're playing against our rollover money, and the inevitable drying up of our hospital interest fund that we're paying money out of to shore up our insurance. So we could do it this year, but it's going to make it, every year we do that, it makes it increasingly more difficult to address it in the subsequent years. And that's fine, but I just think we need to have that in mind, whichever route we embark upon.
That makes sense.
And we've got enough money, I mean, again, not to beat the point, but we've got enough money in our rollover, our expected rollover from the end of the year insurance that, we kind of wanted to have at least a year or two of catastrophic year insurance with our stop loss policy and all that kind of business. We would have enough in there to carry us a couple of years. But, again, we have to supplement at some point that hospital interest money that's going in to shore up the insurance.
All right, what do you guys think? Have you guys had a chance to review this?
Mhm.
Any thoughts?
Is there a listing of the additional requests, whether it be positions and special raise requests? Would have been in the front of the book.
Yeah, in the front of my book,
Here's
a few pages back. At least a special raise request. I don't know about the additional people. Yeah, it looks like that is in there as well.
Thank you.
So,
Dan, I'd rather, just if I could go,
yeah.
I'd rather work from where we started, where you just started the conversation, whether it's 3.5%, 4%, and work our way down to the special. If we start picking just special little departments and then work our way up from there,
There won't be anything left.
where are we showing all the employees where the priority is? Is it who our friends, who our little departments are, and then work our way from there, and whatever's left, we give the majority of the county raises? I'd rather work from what we think the majority of the employees deserve, or what we can afford,
Right.
and then if there's anything left, we dive in. That's just my thought.
Yeah, because keep in mind, Vicki, if we were to give all of those special raises, I hate to even call it that, and all of the additional people that have been requested, we're north of $600,000 on that, right?
About $615,000.
So let's be clear about that. If we approved all of those things that were requested, you're not even going to get a 2% raise. You're going to get a 1% raise. So that obviously is not the direction that we want to go, I wouldn't think. And furthermore, if in your mind you're thinking of a 4% raise, everything we grant on that page takes that out of the realm of possible.
So if we go with the 4%, we're going to be very limited on any
Yes.
special raise increase.
So, yeah, and we're setting nothing more aside for insurance.
The current COLA is 2.8%. In October, the standard was 2.8. So it's gotten increasingly more costly to survive. We know that. So we got to do something.
Well, I think, Jeff, we're all kind of feeling like, I agree with you, and I think we're all kind of feeling like we want to do north of that. I don't think, unless I'm wrong, is there anybody up here that's thinking no raise, 1% or 2%, or are we all on board with we want to do at least 3%?
No, I'm between the 3 to 4 number personally.
Yep.
I'd like to see us get to 4 if possible.
Seriously, though, you have to think about, if you do 4, then it's all over.
Is that a motion?
But if we do 4, we take care of everybody. And that's the part I like about it is.
Yeah, that might be a more simple approach for sure. But I think if we look at it, and I'm not saying look at all these special requests, but it's necessary for us to consider, looking at it from a departmental basis. The department heads are asking for certain things. Some are asking for more or less than others. Some are asking for additional people, and some may desperately need those people. And so we have to be careful in our consideration of those requests and not be dismissive about it, to say that it doesn't matter, let's take the easier out and give everybody 4%. I think there may be some consideration for some of these particular raises or positions to be added, and that makes it more difficult for sure, but certainly would be a more thorough approach to it.
So, your suggestion, Mike, is, do you have a suggestion for across-the-board raises and then go into the other ones, or are you suggesting to go into the other ones first and come back to the percentage raise?
I'm not suggesting that we figure out what the amount is and just give a flat increase to everybody that same percentage.
So that narrows it down, but I'm going to revisit my question. What are you thinking then? I mean, maybe you're not ready, maybe you want to go through these a little more in depth with people.
I think it would be important to hear the pitch, to find out what the need, if they'd like to further discuss what they're recommending.
Okay. I think, if I heard you correctly, you were saying that besides the raise and the special department request, that we need to also think about shoring up, having a little bit of money left over to shore up the insurance. Is that what you were saying?
That's correct, but I've caveated that a little bit, saying that we're not, with insurance, we're not to desperation station yet. I mean,
But we're heading that way.
we'll get there sooner or later if we don't start addressing that a little bit, if we don't start getting, consistently good insurance years, if employees aren't using the clinics like they're supposed to keep our claims down. If all those things aren't coming into place, we're going to sooner or later hit the wall. Now, that sooner is down the road a few years, but it's there. So I had suggested coming into this, if possible, we should set aside $200,000, simply because the most urgent thing probably is the fact that we are funding insurance out of that hospital interest fund, and it is drying up, and it's going to dry up, and then we're going to be scrambling a little bit to get that made up elsewhere. So my suggestion was $200,000 to start this discussion. But again, if, for example, someone made a motion for 4% and we ended the story, there'd be no money for insurance, for the extra for insurance. There's no wiggle room there. And that's before we get into this other stuff. So
But if we did a 3% and that 200,000, there's not enough to do that either.
no, we're playing into that. Yeah, if at 3%, we're close. We're close. Because we got about 934, and 3% is 679, so we're close.
Yeah, but that allows them for nothing either.
Yeah, that allows nothing else. So I guess what we have to do is we have to think philosophically here in the sense that from Mike's perspective, or at least comments, I don't want to speak for Mike, but from the comments he made, he's thinking that we should really be delving in and hearing the pitch from each one of these departments. And from Jeremy's perspective, and perhaps even the comments and you've made is, let's take care of all of our employees and not pick and choose. So what direction do you want to go here?
I just wanted to add, I'd like to take care of everybody
I'd
as
like
much
to,
as we can.
I'd like to make a motion, we accept the 3.5%. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to go beyond that, just because we have no buffer.
Right.
I'll be the bad guy I'll take the heat for that, but we just have nothing left. That's almost $800,000 of additional salary we're paying out across the board.
So number 792,585. Okay, we've got a motion, we have a second. Are there any questions or comments?
Jeremy, you talked about wanting 4%. Are you comfortable with 3.5%?
Well, I mean, that leaves, where am I at? Did you say 3.5?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are we, $100,000, is that, I mean, is the thinking behind that motion then, that $100,000 is what we begin to move over into insurance? Is it to not do that?
I think we have some other things to still address. I think there's some other little items out there that we haven't really looked at.
Right, so you meaning the individual departments?
Well, we had some comp stuff that we were talking about addressing at some point. We had some other issues that we needed to talk about, so I thought if we're going to leave just $100,000, it doesn't give us a lot to address anything.
So I guess I'm asking, what are we going to, if that
I would
motion...
love to say 4%, but I just don't know what's hidden and how much we have sitting aside.
See, I guess the problem that I've got is, before I would say, 3.5 and not 4, for example, understand that in both of those scenarios, in all likelihood, we're not setting any more money aside for extra for the insurance. We've come to terms with the fact that we'll address that at a date in a future year, that's fine. I want to know what things that we might be pushing that money elsewhere to, So, like, if someone asked me, is this special raise more important to you than another 5% for all of the employees? my immediate reaction would be to lean toward all the employees. But maybe there's something compelling in here that says, oh my gosh, if we don't get this done, we can't function or function effectively. Now that leans it back the other way. So, well, I'd like to know, are there any things, and we've all sat through the first readings and second readings, and we've heard at least what the requests were we saw on paper. Were there any that jumped out at anybody that they just had a
Well, I think the patrolmen.
particular interest in?
It certainly got my interest because that's a safety factor for the county. And there are other things, but that one jumped right out at me.
And is this,
Right there.
Sheriff, is this a new first-class patrolman in regards to what's going on in Portage, or is this just in addition to?
No, I'm not asking for any new right now.
Oh, you're not?
It says new first-class patrolman.
We have it here that that's what you're asking.
Oh, he said no, we'll just mark that up.
Mark it out.
Makes it easy.
So, Dave, is this a situation where, I guess, let me ask it this way. Is this a situation, it could be one of three things. One is you need a new patrolman to compensate for guys going to be off the road to work in the schools, and the money's coming in from schools elsewhere, and you're going to put another fund, or is it a situation where you just kind of genuinely want to grow your department, but it's not urgent? But what would be more important to you if that were the case? More on a raise, or the extra guy?
Let me clarify one.
Yeah.
Yes and yes. The extra guy has nothing to do with Portage.
Okay.
We're working on a contract, it's not a secret, with the county and the school system to get the money to supplement the two guys, which has nothing to do with this guy. If you tell me, if you don't give me that extra guy, which we would like, and that money would go towards an assured 3 to 4%, then I would say take the guy out.
All right. That answer your question, Sylvia?
Yes. We're going down the list.
So you just want to go down the list? Is that how you guys want to work it, or you just want to pull them up?
I'm not,
Well,
some of
we
these
do have a
requests, I don't intend
Well, we
to.
can withdraw the motion and wait and go down the list. It's up to you.
I'm just asking what you guys want to do, whatever. We already approved the veteran service one, correct?
Yeah.
That was off the list.
So, and included the 38.5 in the figures that you're talking about, Vicki?
For the
For the veteran services, because there was a savings, because we got rid of the part-timer, correct? We actually brought money back for that, back money into the general fund. I don't have that. We'll take the second to last.
Yes.
Last two pages.
Did we not have them?
Orange.
Yeah, it's in front of it. There it is.
Got it?
It's just not a super large spot.
Gotcha. Yes, I'm old.
I didn't say that.
So Vicki, so I'm clear, the 38.5, we're not talking about, that's a needed expenditure to take care of the veteran services.
We approved it.
That's already.
And it's already done.
It's already
So that's right.
Okay.
That's the reason I brought it
That's
up.
what I'm
We
clarifying.
don't have
Thank
to
you.
think about it.
Opera House is the same thing right there.
Yes.
So Opera House, same thing?
Opera
And
House.
that's not general fund.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at,
I know, but it's insurance.
That's right.
Okay, just cross this off.
Well, we're crossing off here quite a lot.
So I guess then.
Yeah, but you understand when we say it's insurance, a lot of these budgets, they're either
Okay.
in that budget, or the commissioners have picked it up and we've already dealt with it. Just to let you know.
Oh, that's just an hour.
So maybe we can start with, there's only just a handful up in the general fund. Now, we start with those. huh?
So the EMA, part-time to full-time executive assistant, is that where you want to start? Fourth row?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So,
I think, so things that I will unlikely vote for, are things that I don't think necessarily are essential. But let's kind of start with, EMA, part-time to full-time.
If we're going part-time to full-time, is there a savings? Are you guys going to hire another part-time person, or are you putting that money back in the general fund?
I'm going to come up there. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
This used to be a full-time position. 2015, we made it a part-time position. I don't know why.
Right.
There is a definite need for this. And plus, with this position, salary. So, really what it is, it becomes about $7,000, over $7,000 a year with that, coming back. And then comes the general fund, right, Vicki? Yes.
Yes.
So this so I can be clear on this, we have one at $42,000 on this breakout. So if we take a part-time person to full-time, is your sheet telling us it's going to cost us an additional $42,000? Is that what it is?
That's the salary request, 42.
But we're saving money from not having that part-time person, correct? So they've lessened their...
So we need to talk
Yeah,
about
that's what we want.
reducing that hourly line item.
Could you let us know what that number is, or do you not know? I don't know.
Whether or not it makes a difference, not the council, but this person is not going to take any benefits.
That means nothing, because that could always change, and,
I'll scroll down.
yeah, understood. We've been down that road a time or two, and then things change, and there you go.
So I think that number is going to be lower once we pull that out.
Not low, it's still going to be a hit, but maybe not quite so bad.
Well, then how would security pay that?
So this is the main thing that they were wanting.
Yeah, that's a new, significant.
Should be.
Oh, right.
Seriously, just did the math for that.
We getting close over there?
Forget that.
So we're
We
gonna-
think we can reduce the hourly to zero, because that is the hourly person that would become full-time.
You understand that? Right, so zero. So if we do that, so Vicki, if you have, right now, we're trying to keep track of what these things will do to our general fund. So let's,
17,000,
yeah, but then he's talking
We're getting
about,
half of it back.
he's talking about some
So
reimbursement.
we're actually going to make money to the general fund after the reimbursement.
No,
Not
not
quite,
making
not quite.
That was for FICA.
Close. It was a good idea,
I
though.
was thinking,
I was totally with you. I liked where you were going with
something
that.
didn't work.
that's why you got my back, Dan. But it's not, it's.
I'd like to know I'd like to know an idea of what you think.
So the increase to this budget would be 17,430.
430, that's the actual dollar amount.
Right.
And then-
Knocking down hourly to zero and increasing that salary another 42,000.
And then if he's indicating that half the salary will come back by way of, I want you to have a look on your face like,
That was a scary look.
That doesn't count against this budget. Now we're going into the revenue fund. This budget will end up being the increase of the 17,430.
okay. All right.
So, do we want to continue just going through
Yes.
them? Okay, so next up, we have the prosecutor, moving salaries from 2501 to the general fund, 60,618. Mr. Gensel?
I'm willing to wait.
Okay.
That's a nice, thank you.
That'd be huge.
It helps. Thank you. Okay, ITS, hourly $12.50 an hour to $13.50 an hour difference.
That doesn't hit our agenda, does it?
Just the rate.
Yeah.
Just the rate change.
Can you change
As long as
that?
they
I mean,
don't-
do you-
As long as they don't go over what's been budgeted,
For
they're just
that
paying
lot of
for
money,
it
okay.
more.
Got it.
do we need to vote on it or anything? Can you just change it to 13? It's not affecting.
We may go back and, I say we go back, and anything that we're wanting to adopt, we just
Right.
Do it
make a
all at once.
motion.
Do it
to do it.
everything.
Okay.
Motion.
All right, so next up, we have the Expo Center, non-general fund, new event manager, 35,000.
Lori, when would that person come online?
Ideally, we'd want to start the hiring process in January or February, so they're in place in April, so it would be the full year. I looked at the prorated amount, I think it was full with insurance, that first insurance full, it was about,
They said 17,000.
Yeah, 17.
You gotta speak louder.
I would like them in place by May.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for her? Expo Center?
No, so that's not going to hit our general fund. I mean,
Oh, that's true.
Well, we've got the highway department part-time to full-time
The
administrative.
insurance will bother us, right?
yeah, but don't you, it's like Vicki with the highway, so if we take that person from part-time to full-time, where would that insurance come out of? If they, yeah,
I would
Okay.
you know what I'm
think
saying, so it doesn't, as long as the fund can support it, and it can right now.
So the next one we would have would be the RWRD, part-time attendance, $10 to $15.
I mean, sure.
It's just an name.
It doesn't matter.
Glad now I know what RWRD is.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, looks like the last one, Commissioner Facility, new groundskeeper at $33,000.
And that is going to hit the general fund, right? Or are we going to pay for it out of lit? They're suggesting lit?
They're suggesting that.
Explain that a little further. So what do you mean by that?
Well, this whole budget comes out of lit right now,
Right.
and it's not increased because of this full-time person.
Yeah.
So in this larger line item, in the sub-lit budget.
Bring that lit budget up. Right. Just hold on a minute, Scott. Are you saying that you've reduced in other areas to cover it? Is that what you're telling us in that lit budget? Or are you saying, well, it's lit, so...
No, if you approved it, it's either under contractual or under, whenever we get there, I'll tell you which line. No.
You can have a seat, man. You can make yourself comfortable.
23,500.
You don't have to stand up there. Say that again. You intimidated me by standing over me.
23,500 would be reduced by that amount.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions on the process?
So what did we expend out of that? Is this, when we say 2018 expend, that's to date? Vicki, that's 607, 326?
Went over it.
But in 17, we expended 732.
Way beyond it.
So my question is, why did it reduce? What's happened that's made it?
We're catching up on some of the deferred maintenance.
Okay. So this is when we talked about the maintenance department and all these things, we were going to see the savings, and this is one of the examples.
Correct. And this is the furthering, trying to get us less with contractors and contracts and more with people on the ground.
Are we going to finish the year, though, on that 623, because we're already at 607?
Yes.
But you're confident that in 18, or 19, you'll need no more than 560?
Correct.
What indeed do we need a groundskeeper for full-time?
One of the main things is snow again. We talked about it the other day. He's having a really hard time getting people in just to shovel. So he ends up taking our guys that we already have off of plowing to shovel, and then he would have to hire someone contract for plowing, which all the bids are coming in around $60,000 for the quotes, not bids. And it'd probably be cheaper to have a full-time groundskeeper, plus he can keep up on weed pulling and mowing, and there's plenty to do. The department is packed.
Does anyone else have any questions about the groundskeeper?
No.
All right, so we just went through all the other salary wage requests. Those are the additional people, correct?
Did you guys do IT?
No, we haven't, I'm sorry, we went through the title of the page. It's just additional people. That's what we just went through.
Andy, I had another $8,000.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
We're going to, I think that's just the one
I'm just
page.
working off these pages, I guess.
Yeah,
That goes, if you go to the front, I mean, that's it.
So this one's a lot.
Did you guys talk about the highway person?
Yeah,
Like going
yes,
from full to part-time?
yes, I believe they did.
I think there was a general shrug and,
Yeah,
Comes
it should
out of
start with the
highway.
auditor. You should have a page somewhere that starts with the auditor.
Yeah,
So it's really,
so it's titled raise request.
Yes.
So if we approve all these ones that we just went through, do you know what kind of hit we're talking right there? Without, I mean, obviously the prosecutor removed his, the sheriff lessened his.
We did the EMA, part-time and full-time.
Just 17,000 to the general fund at this point, right?
that's correct.
Yes, $17,430 to the general fund, because the sheriff removed his.
Veterans.
Yeah, we'll already take care of it.
And the prosecutor, moving those two people to the general fund, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So there's another particular raise, yeah, so that wasn't the big fish in the pond, though. The big fish is on the other pages, so we haven't gotten to the meat and the bones of the $600 and some thousand request increase.
So how do we want to tackle this? Because this is multiple pages.
Surely is, so,
Go through it?
IT, I think we all agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Start with the auditor on top.
All right.
If you guys are gonna go through them.
Do you want people coming up there, or do I just say?
you can just talk right from where you're at, I mean,
Okay.
where you're comfortable, because I may holler numbers, request for
My
numbers.
my request is just a continuation of what was requested last year, where I tried to fix a wage gap that exists between certain positions. And your rule was that if someone got a special raise, they also didn't get the across-the-board raise. So my request was to bring these 9 individuals up to another individual, and you graciously approved that, except the other individual got the across-the-board raise, and they didn't, so the wage gap continued. That's all I was asking.
And that number's 14,940, correct?
Not including the across-the-board raise. So basically.
So you'd like you'd like to bring them up and then give them the raise on top of that?
And then bring the raise above that, which goes against your policy in the past. And I understand that, but I'm making the request, so.
Understood.
Okay.
So,
You want to talk about the auditor more, or move on to the commissioners, or how do you guys want to handle that?
well, let's just keep digging down in the well here and see if
Okay.
anything jumps out at us.
So next up, we have the commissioners. They're asking for an assistant administrator raise increase of $5,600.
I couldn't hear you. What is it?
Oh, I was just reading what you guys were asking for.
You're asking for a $5,600 raise for a staff member.
Yes, that will kind of bring her to parity with other people in the office. She's cross-trained, she does all the office supply ordering, the building and beyond. She does all the minutes, she does all the receptionist type work. She really keeps the ship afloat.
I would think so.
Everything sounds good.
Yeah.
And Laura, when you say parity, does that bring them up to the same salary?
Yeah,
Exact same salary?
yeah.
Well, I think we should ask them. Yeah.
The same as one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're trying to match.
All right, thank you, guys. Anyone else, any questions? Okay, next up, we have the jail and
Get your
sheriff.
steps in today, Scott, don't worry.
Now, the jail and sheriff,
Always fun, Jeremy.
it states you guys were looking for a 5% raise for everyone for your department, so do we need to go over any individuals with this, or we'll just include them with?
Yeah, was your $166,690 increase and $290, is that just your request for 5%? Is that what that is?
That's just straight 5%. There's no in particulars we need to talk about. Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure before.
So when we ask for
move on.
special raises, you said everybody is special in your department. I understand.
That's my
I appreciate that. I don't disagree.
Okay, next up, we have the prosecutor. Looks-
Got IT.
Oh.
IT.
Oh, I skipped right over that, I'm sorry. ITS, it looks like the request is to increase the director, $20,554.
Yes, he has taken on the sheriff's department, 911, the recorder's office, the assessor's office. We finally have a true countywide IT program. The amount of work that he's put in with revamping everything, and you guys know, because you generously gave him all the money to do all that. So I think he definitely needs a bump.
So you're faced with the same question that I asked the sheriff. So we're talking about, now we're into whatever particular increases we give directly inversely affect the amount of raises we can give across the board. Understanding that point, you're making a request for $20,000 increase for your employee, which I'm not saying it's not warranted, but in your mind, do you think that that request is worth reducing the amount of raise that the rest of your employees will get?
difficult question.
No, it's
You know,
not.
that is-
Sometimes,
It's a tough question.
sometimes people say, I have this employee, and I have to tell you that if I don't give this employee a $20,000 raise, I'll lose him. That's not,
I
that's,
hope I won't lose
so that's
them,
not a
but
hard
I
question.
do know that it's still a hard question, because I think everybody that works in county government is fantastic and deserves a raise. But.
Okay, but that's the question you're asking us. That's the question you're asking us.
Well, yeah,
You understand, you acknowledge that it's a difficult question,
It is a very
but that's the
difficult
question you're asking us.
That's why your job is tough.
Right, so,
I truthfully think that IT, if that goes down, if something happens to IT, everything goes down. And I truthfully think that this person does deserve, I would be willing to give them a $10,000 raise.
I would concur with that. It's just, we're county government, and we're trying to take care of everybody, and with all of his added responsibilities, he probably deserves the 20.
More, yeah.
But maybe meet halfway and go 10.
And I would agree with that. I mean, unless the sheriff and 911, all these people that put more workload on you are going to give us some money to help with it. I like the 10,000 number. I think it's fair, and it's a start to get you to where they want to get you to, in my opinion.
I'd like to be able to give everybody big raises. I'd like to give everybody that's requesting, because I think they all deserve it. But I think that when department heads ask us for a substantial raise for an employee, it does put us in a situation where we have to consider everybody else when we make this determination. We are, with $10,000, which I'm fine with, I was looking for some compelling reason that outweighed all the individual compelling reasons folks need
You
raises.
can't keep asking the department heads to add more and more and more to their plate without compensating them.
I didn't say we weren't going to compensate,
No, I
and I
know.
surely didn't say we weren't
I
going
know,
to raise.
And I'm happy with what you're discussing, I'm just saying that's why we're asking for it. And it's not our friends, it's people that are doing more and saving the county money sometimes. It's doing things in-house rather than contracting them out.
Well, I know if I was here next year, I'd be willing to look at, trying to fix that gap, but I think just a $20,000 raise right off the bat is just
I understand.
a little too much with what we're dealing with.
And understand, I don't disagree with the fact that we're asking him to do more. I don't disagree with that, and I don't disagree with the notion that we want to compensate people for doing more. But what you've been up here, you understand that story is prevalent in a lot of departments. We have a lot of departments that are saying, I've asked this person to step up more. So I would like to see them get this. And my question for you was there something compelling?
And I told you what it was for me.
I think this is very specifically tied to, obviously, increased job responsibilities as tied to a job description, which says this is what he's responsible for now, as opposed to what he was responsible for in the past. And clearly, with those additional responsibilities, that consideration should be made.
I don't have a problem with the 10 grand. I'm just telling you that we're going to hear that story in a lot of different settings. Now, they haven't all come and asked, I'll give you that, but they have in the past. And some of those had job descriptions tied to them. So, and we've had to say no because we didn't have the money or because we wanted to give a bigger raise across the board to catch the entire county up and that sort of thing. And I think it's an absolutely fair question to ask a department head or elected official, is there something about this request that is so compelling that it should be $20,000? Or to the detriment, because now we're pushing against a lower raise, or is this, are you shooting high and this, hey, man, if it's going to detrimentally affect raises for everybody else, how about 10? How about 7? How about 12,000? I think that's a very fair question for us, and if we don't ask those sorts of questions, then we're not getting all the information.
I think he essentially answered the question.
Right, but this gentleman,
No, but you were continuing to say, so I was...
I'm just making my point.
I was just
I was
sort of
making my
building on
point,
that.
as you've continued to.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you, so I'm not really sure where you're going with that, Smirk, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, I am telling you that that's why we do this. That's why I was asking the questions I was asking. You said things like job descriptions are involved and all that, so I just...
Okay, so are we all in agreement that 10,000 would be that number that we would...
you want to take a vote?
No, well, maybe we would tackle it all at the end, I think, but... And you guys will make that work, right?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so next up, we would have the prosecutor, for real this time. And looks like an $8,119 increase for two 2 employees, plus the across-the-board raise.
And then shutdown.
I guess I'm here.
Discretionary funds. I don't know when that comes.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
What
What are you
did you
talking
say?
about? I'm sorry.
Well, there's the 8,100, however much that amounts to, and then there's the money that I was given last year spread around out of my discretionary funds, and asked to spread that around a little bit differently, give that different.
Are you talking about your county court supervisor and domestic violence deputy, Brian? Is that what you're talking about here?
I believe that's what I'm talking about.
That would be, it's on the second page. We're just kind of attacking the general fund hit right now, but
Oh, the
while he's sitting here,
See that in
yeah.
a second, okay. Yeah, Scott, hold them away.
The $8,100, or however much that amounts to, that encompasses an employee from the Portage office who has been doing the work, the same work that several other of my staff have been doing. She's been doing it for years, and she's just not getting the appropriate pay for that. So, she's been doing that work for years in that slot and has not benefited from having consistent pay with the others. So that's the one issue, that's a $5,000 and some dollar increase. Yep.
5,119.
And the other one is for Cheryl Pohl. We talked about that the last time we were here, and there's discussion about settling up the comp time. If I have to eat that, I'm happy to do that. And then, there's discussion, whether it's for tonight or for another night, about pulling her out of the non-exempt and making her exempt. But my belief is that because, we can all talk about added duties and hours and all that type of stuff, I think that the evidence of, the time that she's putting in is reflected in the comp time. I'm not tremendously happy about that, or any more happy than you guys are, but it is what it is. And so I think a pay raise for her, that she would be, that would perhaps not cover all the overtime that she's actually going to put in, but it would be, a gesture that, yes, we acknowledge that you, for additional responsibilities and all these types of things, that would
So that,
somewhat take care of that.
that number, the 35,428, she would not, no, I'm sorry, the 53,755, she would not be getting overtime. You would move to exempt at
Well,
that
different,
point.
that's the other person.
He's talking about the court manager.
The court manager in my Portage office would be getting the $5,300 raise to make her equivalent to the people that are also doing that same job.
Andy, was your question then, if the $50,375, that's the salary you're asking, if that's what you're suggesting to address Cheryl?
Correct.
And that would be her salary as an exempt employee?
Correct.
So, Scott, he keeps talking about changing his non-exempt person to exempt, or comp time, not comp time. Give us a thought on that, as a county attorney. You've looked at this.
Yeah, I mean, I believe she meets the threshold. It's just a matter of getting it before the commissioners to approve it, and back before the council to approve it from a job description and exempt standpoint.
Do you see any issue with that?
I think from our standpoint, we could probably do that at the October 30th meeting.
Does that require a pay raise to do that?
Not at her current level. She's above the threshold as we speak.
Okay.
On that narrow question.
Understood.
All right, does anyone else have any questions about the prosecutor? Thank you, guys. Next up, we have the Portage Township Assessor. Where's she at? Oh, there she is. And it looks like you guys are looking for $14,997 more for four employee increases. Good evening.
I think I already have the money from my general fund, for the line items, already in my, I deleted some of my funds, I was,
Would you pull her budget up? Thanks, Vicki.
Would you bring the mic?
oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Thanks.
uh-huh.
So, I'm sorry, it's already in here, you're saying? We don't need to approve any of this?
It's already, I took it out of some of the line items.
So, Vicki,
Some of the line items.
when we look at your adopted salary budget, 207,711, and this
Yeah, I
would
wrote
increase
a
it.
letter to you guys.
Yeah, we know. So, where are you cutting it then? You're suggesting then to cut some money out of travel,
Yeah, the travel, education.
training and ed, the 7,000?
Yeah, and, was it dues and subscriptions?
So you didn't quite,
Wasn't asking for additional, the only additional I was asking for to finish covering the balance that I was asking for their pay is to increase the level 2 and 3. And that, in the reassessment budget.
11,000. So you've cut, it looks, what's in front of us is you've cut out to 11,380.
Correct.
And,
it's
and you-
380 into the base salaries. The
But
only
then-
increase I'm asking for is from the reassessment budget.
But this is,
No,
this...
we didn't
yeah.
add that
Uh-uh.
11,380 to the salaries, because we were told not to include any special.
Well, I know that, that's what I'm explaining, and I cut it, but that's how I was,
So you would be putting it back in.
back
And then some.
At
And then some.
out of reassessment, though. I'm just transferring money from my line items to my...
So your reassessment fund is shared with the county assessor's
County.
reassessment. And so,
I know.
is he here?
No, I didn't see him.
I mean, he didn't need to be, but maybe he wanted to be.
So I wasn't asking for any additional in the general fund, I was just transferring, taking money out of my line item.
Well, you are asking for an additional in the general fund, but you're also saying you'll supplement it with more money out of the assessment. So what we're looking at is an increase to the general fund on this, as a raise request, $14,997. That's what this request hits the general fund for. I understand that you've proposed to cut $11,380 for other expenses out of your general fund budget to compensate for most of that.
Right.
And you're suggesting then that we would take out of the reassessment fund the additional $3,000, $4,000 necessary? Is that, am I understanding the request correctly?
That's how I understand it.
11,365 to the general.
Yes, the increase to the general fund would be 11,365 by increasing these salaries.
Even though she's cut it, even though she's proposed to cut 11,300?
It would be a wash.
Almost. It would be 3,000 or 4,000 shy of a load, correct? What are we missing here?
15 or 25,000.
So let me make sure I understand this correctly. She's requesting raise increases that would be $14,997. She's proposed a 2019 budget that has cuts in it. Or is that, she's suggesting to cut her training and ed, $7,000. She's suggesting to cut her travel by $3,000.
So she's cutting these other line items in the hopes that you're going to...
Grant
approve
this,
a higher
so what I'm saying is, so it's not exactly a wash.
The level 3 increase would come out of reassessment.
Right.
And
So it's not exactly a wash, is what I'm getting at here. Her suggested cuts of 11,380 in the hopes that we'll get 14,997 isn't exactly a wash.
In the general.
Well, that's what we're talking about here.
In the reassessment fund, she's asking for the increases to the
Yeah, but-
level 2 and level 3.
Yeah, but we're talking about the general fund here.
Okay, right.
So,
To the general fund, it would be almost a wash.
But it is.
But these would be special raises.
But it is.
And that's what I'm talking about.
okay. Okay. I just want to make sure it's clear.
Yeah, and the sheet, we said that the impact to the general fund is 11,365, and she's cut 11,380.
Okay, comparing apples to apples, the county assessor's making $53,952 out of the general fund. And you're proposing the salary to be up to $64,500?
Yeah, I did research on the township assessors with the same parcels that we have, and that's what they were getting.
Okay, and that would be considerably more, 11-some thousand than the county assessor.
Well, yeah, correct, but I done my research on the township assessor, so that's what, John's not my office.
What does the assessor make? I mean, I know he makes that out, does he have any supplemental to his
Yes,
budget?
The
so,
assessors are pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Because they get paid out of multiple funds, they also get the level 2 and the level 3 stipend. So so it depends on what we want to talk about. If we're only looking at the general fund, the county assessor currently makes just the general fund, $53,952. And the township assessor, just out of the general fund, makes $48,591. But now you have to, remember when we revised the salary ordinance last year?
Yes.
That was to bring the greater clarity. Once you add in all those other funds, the total for the county assessor currently is $65,410, and the total for the township assessor is $59,035, once you bring in all those other funds. The This is where it gets confusing with the assessors, because they have.
You get that, Karen? It's not exactly.
Yeah, I got it.
So,
Yeah, I think I put that in the, what it all included into that letter I wrote.
So Vicki, are we saying that with this proposed increase, that will put her, put that position in a parity with the county assessor?
Yes.
All things considered, forgetting what funds it comes out of?
About $1,000.
Be about,
$900 difference.
yeah. She'll still have that.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions for the Portage Township Assessor?
Did you want to say something, Vicki?
I'm trying to answer your question, Mike, because the two, level 2 and level 3 proposals are different, so let's make it down to people.
I can explain that. When I turned mine in at the time, John and I had discussed about the level 2 and 3, and he told me what he was requesting. I put that in my budget. I found out later, weeks later, that he was asking for something different. I didn't change mine, so.
You have the same level 3 proposal to go from 1,000 to 3,000. But you're proposing your level 2 to go from 1,000
because yes, because that was the original agreement.
Level 3 also get the level 2 pay, so that's what also makes it. Level 3 is actually also get the level 2 pay.
All right,
Where's my,
we're
It is, they are considered.
gonna take a 5-minute break real quick and then reconvene in a few minutes here.
I think we got her.
Thank you.
Line by line, we're gonna bury it.
That's all you do is swear. What are you talking about?
That's all you do is comment on
You need to stand down.
How dare I? Mr. Smirk.
I think I'm ready for that.
That's your natural face. I mean,
Yes, sir.
hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
3 days ago.
Do they have to go potty?
Never shakes my hand.
If you don't change level 2 and level 3, what
I don't see how we can, if we go 4%, it's gonna wipe out everything.
No, we're not going for it. You suggested, I've been trying to keep track of the numbers. I haven't been very good.
Well, when we just did that last, we were at 56,000 before the, he wants 4%. He's
I'm glad he does.
been adamant about 4%.
I'm glad he does it.
That's exactly right. He's doing exactly what our manager should be doing.
I can't see us going past 3.
We can. We might not even do 3 points.
By the time we get done, we may not be able to.
Without the assessor, we're at 56,089.
Oh, good.
If we had that 11,000 in there, we're at 67.
So we still have something to go.
Yeah. So we still have, I know that there's a couple people that wanted to add positions, and it's not asked for them.
Yeah, really can't.
Well, I know there was some restructuring in 911, yeah, they had to restructure.
They're gonna, again?
Yeah,
They just got that.
They had to do the recruiting process, they're having trouble allocating people to the council. So what they're hoping to do is start people at lower pay, maybe get them the phone to the phone and remove the structure so they get paid.
As they move on down the
So
line.
it would help us in our general fund because initially the people need to point one.
So he wants to take his budget and have it in.
Correct, we're not really asking for an additional. Maybe was at one point asking for an additional person. But just the increase that we gave in part-time and full-time should be enough. It scares me that we have such a large obligation. What really scares me is, I'm glad that Ryan stepped up and said he was going to meet it.
Yeah.
Because that would have been.
But we still need to correct your department. And that's important that we correct your department.
Yeah, and it has for years,
If anybody needs that justification, you do, because that particular venue needs clarity. It really does. Because
It needs clarity and purity.
Right. So I think that that's something we
There's
have
bad
to
feelings.
address.
We only give it
Right.
I only did it for activities.
you don't want to go in the office. How do you think we could do it? How could we do it? What's your solution? Yeah, do. How could we do this? Okay. But it's gotta continue. That's exactly right.
No, we can't.
Remember, we're trying to save a little bit for insurance.
I still believe we can have to work on
I do too. Yeah.
We're at about 67,000. We were to give stuff to the board. I need to use the restroom. I think we have to look at, we should address it.
That's gotta be part of it.
If you're even looking at 3.5%, this way you cut it off.
Okay. Well, let's figure out what we're going to do for the raise, and then we'll ask you, is this the first and second raise department?
We wait for reason first? Yes. I think we're done with these. We don't need any more from Walter right now, do we? I think we got the questions again.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Hey, how you doing? Go back, Rick. The music won't be. The king of smirk. Right after I say that, I wish I could take it. Well, I see. You do that a lot.
Not a lot. You're going to use that stuff. I just try to find it.
What do you look for?
Stop, that's... All right, we'll explore that. We'll take it step by step.
Well, he just... That'd be nice. That'd be great. Thank you.
Oh, here we go. You can never We're rocking south?
Never.
All right, thank you, everyone. All right, I guess I'd like to make a motion.
All right, Mr. Councilman Whit.
I mean, we're already, with what we've done already, we're already south of 4%. I don't want to get any further south before we get this down. So, I'm going to make a motion at 3.5% raise across the board.
Okay, we have a
So wasn't
motion.
there already a motion and a second?
I believe they withdrew it.
Second. They did?
Yeah. They withdrew it, and then we got into special raises. But I'm happy to vote on that prior motion.
No, I withdrew it.
Okay, so we have a first, we have a second at 3.5% raises across the board. Is there any discussion, comments, questions? Anyone?
I mean, we talked about 4%, we wanted to get up there, there's not enough money, and by the way, at 3.5%, again, this is setting aside no money for the additional money for insurance, but we can deal with that later, but that, and this is going to be a stretch for the rest of this discussion tonight, but I think it's a number that we can make work.
Okay, so just to recap, at the 3.5, we're looking at $792,585.
That's correct.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
So,
Vic, with what we've already approved for the special raises and individuals, if we were to approve the 3.5%, we started the evening at $934,000 available to increase the general fund. Where are we at?
The wiggle room, the additional, $141,968.
No. Because you started the evening with, you got $934,000. If we vote for $793,000, and then with what we've already done tonight, that is not leaving us with no.
You're saying add the other change that we made.
Add the other stuff we've already done tonight.
what?
You're talking about the
Don.
EMA.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going through all of that.
Yeah, let's assume that we're where we're at, and that we've gone through what we've got, and that's,
Okay, I was just going, 793, so we're approving everything that we just discussed.
if we, the things that we know, everyone said, I want to do 10,000 on the ITS, so that was cool.
The EMA.
Here,
Yeah.
the EMA we okayed, that was going to be 17, wasn't it?
17,000 additional.
17,430, yeah.
And then we okayed the
Yeah. So we're more like 117 maybe, I don't know.
I mean, we're just talking about the general fund.
Yeah.
And then the commissioners.
Yeah, so are we taking the commissioners into that as well with their, bringing
That
around
was part of that.
No,
Well, we're talking about the administration.
She's talking about the other thing, the $5,600 hit.
$5,600.
And the auditor's request.
So what are you guys just taking, everything that we discussed?
I just want to know how much, the stuff that we've all said, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good deal. We know ITS for done, we know, we talked, the EMA seemed to pass the smell test, we were asking a lot of questions and doing mathematics, that always leads to a good conclusion.
Commissioners, auditor, prosecutor, assessor, everything?
No.
No,
Let's do Don,
okay,
and let's do EMA,
okay.
and let's do 3.5% raise. Before we go any further, we're not done yet.
That number.
What's that leave us with? We haven't voted on the auditors yet, we haven't voted on the Portage Township assessor, the prosecutor's request.
820, yeah, 820.
114,000,
114.
114.
All right, so,
114,538.
all right,
So with 3.5, that's what we would have.
that's what we're, the things that we just really felt like we were probably needing to do.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. Do we want to take a vote, or is there any more questions or comments? And this is for the 3.5% raise across the board, the
Yes.
79.
With only, but you're saying you want to vote on the 3.5% plus the commissioner?
No,
ITS?
my motion is 3.5, I just wanted to keep we'll go back on all this other stuff. I just want to keep a running tab, I want everybody to know what we're doing if we vote for 3.5%, which I intend to vote for, so.
Okay, were there any other questions or comments about the 3.5% raise across the board? Nothing? Hearing nothing, Vicki, roll call, please.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
Councilmember Conover,
Yes.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen,
Yes.
Councilmember Larson,
Yes.
Councilmember Witten,
Yes.
and Councilmember Bozick.
Yes.
Okay, 7-0.
Okay.
So that was just for the 3.5%.
That locks down that number for now. Let's come, and we can always come back to that, but let's,
Do you want to make a motion to tackle the IT and the EMA one together? I think there was one other one.
no, I don't want to yet.
Okay.
I mean, I'm open. What are your thoughts on that, guys? Do you want us to start picking these off vote by vote, or do you want to do a global sort of, this is what we're going to approve?
Well, we've discussed the IT pretty thoroughly. We all seem to be in.
That's what I was thinking, we could.
Yeah, get that out of the way.
That's
table.
okay, I mean, 6 months, sure.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So is that a motion for the 10,000?
Yes, I'll make a motion.
Second.
Hey, we got a motion, we've got a second. Any questions or comments? And this is in regards to the 10,000 additional salary to our IT director.
Do you want to throw in the additional for the EMA, general fund, other general fund item?
The one was like,
If you would like
Yeah.
to amend your motion, yes.
Why don't we just take them one at a time? I mean, if we're going to do this, let's do it one at a time. So start lumping them in together.
Well, we know
already
those
done
ones were.
two.
We don't know those ones.
I'd like to call the question, Mr. Chairman, we got a motion and a second on the IT.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
So you're against the IT?
I'm against giving, since I've been up for 8 years, that's the largest raise I've ever seen come across. Not saying it doesn't deserve it, but year after year, maybe we get there. $10,000 in one hit
That's what we
is
gave at the end.
larger than I've been a
Yeah,
part of.
I mean, come
So,
on.
what, Sylvia?
Well, when we were expanding the EMA department, I think that those were pretty broad expansions, and I feel as if,
EMA, we're talking about IT.
I know we are, but you were asking why I didn't think $10,000 was
I'm going to push you around, Sylvia, speak up for yourself here.
No, it's
I'm just saying that I feel as if, I feel comfortable in giving this gentleman a $10,000 raise, considering how many of us come to work and sit down in front of a computer, and this man is in charge of making sure and making certain that all of those computers are working. all over the county.
I hate to even ask the question, but, I mean, Commissioner Blaney, I mean, you guys came up with this number from somewhere, so I assume you did sort of analysis of other like-in-kind, government and private industry. And what did you find?
That 20 was more, I mean, to give him the 20 raise would bump him up closer to the industry standard. And one of our other considerations was he's approaching retirement age, and we're going to have to
That's
find
right.
somebody new sometime soon. And they're not going to come for what he's getting right now.
I said that about Sylvia 3 elections ago.
Never give up, guys, never.
Okay, so do we just want to tackle these one by one? Do we want to?
Don't let him push you around.
I'm not.
Do we want to tackle the auditor next then and take a vote on that? Does someone have a motion?
Are we done with the
right.
EMA?
Well, no one made a motion on
No.
EMA yet.
Okay.
No, nobody made a motion on that.
Do you have a motion to make?
We asked for a comparison.
Don't let me push you around, sir. Just do that yourself.
Make a motion.
You're starting to get,
I make a motion to
little
accept
late.
the EMA, we're gonna get some of that funding back, so.
Yeah, second.
Okay, we've got a first, we've got a second in regards to the EMA request.
I'm not so concerned about that.
Thank you, Councilman Larson. Does anyone else have anything on EMA?
This is that we're doing the thing.
Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries. Sorry. Motion still carries.
Stay
Okay,
focused.
someone else got a motion to make, or you want to just go through them again? How do you guys want to?
Well, so Jeremy, you had made some mention earlier about
Are we on the radio?
additional sheriff's department personnel. Is there any other personnel requests that?
Well, now that you brought it up, I mean, we kind of let off asking him, what, you know, if he could make it with one less patrolman for the 4% raise. Obviously, we didn't get the 4% raise. Is that patrolman back on the table? Is that what you're?
How close are we to the,
What happens if we get to the end of the rainbow here and we find out suddenly we have enough money for 4%?
I would be in favor. We have addressed everything.
Let's not
That's not going in that direction.
let's not start spending the rest of the money.
Let's.
That's right.
I mean, I have no problem with 4% if we can get there, but
See, Jeremy?
start tackling.
I agree.
We're beyond that.
Nothing's over till it's over.
All right, so do we want to, now, does someone want to discuss the auditor? Do we want to go in that route? And
So,
do this for-
Vicki, I'd like to ask us, I want to get a better handle on this. So, I know that you inherited an office that needed some tender loving care. And it seems like you've moved some things around, changed job descriptions, and done some things there. So I want you to explain one more time quickly, this request of $14,940 increase to salaries. You based that request on what?
To close the gap between one person who was making about several $1,000s more than the other deputy.
Was there any other particular reason why there was disparity in their, was one there longer? Was there historically maybe a different job description, or?
Because in prior years, basically the payroll deputy and the benefits deputy got paid equally. Well, we've restructured some of the positions where we gave the payroll deputy, now called payroll director, added responsibilities. She's in charge of our payroll system. The benefits deputy still handles benefits, and she has taken on more of a role as an assistant to the payroll director. So there is now a wage discrepancy between those two positions. But at the same time, the other positions in the office have also taken on added responsibility, and they are lower.
But this is so this is a request to bring 8 people up, right?
I'm sorry, 9.
9 people.
I had a typo in one, and I don't know if it would affect 7 tax deputies, and then the 2 in the financial. So it would bring all of those people up to the same pay. They don't do the same duties, but their workload is comparable.
Could we get half of this year and then half next year?
I like that idea. It saves us
That would be one.
$7,500.
Sounds good.
You guys just, chastised me for talking about that with the IT guy. I mean, said big hits all at one time, you know?
Well, we reduced that request.
I don't think the IT, we did reduce it to half.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at
speaking
that.
my mind,
More than
so.
I'm just thinking if we can close that gap to that potential elusive 4%, this would be a big help. It's half of the amount of money right there.
I would agree with that. Okay, do we have a motion?
So can you split that in half for me, Vic?
Sure, that would be.
$7,470.
$470.
Yeah, $7,470.
Second.
That was a motion?
That's my
Okay.
motion.
We got a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Thank
Motion
you,
carries.
Vicki.
Next up, we would have the commissioners, that $5,600 increase.
So is this a new, I hate to even ask, is this a new position?
Hmm.
This is a person have you changed, are we talking about Rhonda here? Who are we talking about? I know, I can't keep track of HR director stuff. Go ahead, I could be HR director next month. No, it's probably a bad idea to make me HR director. Okay. So she's been here a while and...
We made her full-time.
Right.
She's doing all the ordering for all the county supplies. She does all of our minutes, she does all the reception stuff, she schedules,
She fills in.
cross-trains
Right.
with
How much do they want?
Melanie, who pays all of our bills and everything.
How's her salary compared to the other,
Hmm?
or do you have other folks in that office that you would consider the same like in kind?
Yeah, I mean, this would bring her up to parity with that. And I think parity with Joy, actually.
With Joy?
So is this one of those
She
things
doesn't
where we
look
could
like that kind of-
do as we did with the auditor and do half now and look at half next year? Would you guys make that work, so we can lessen the hit?
I'm sure she'd be happy with
Fine.
step in the right direction.
Well, she'll still get the percentage on top of
She would still get the percent raise?
Yes, you would stiuld get the raise,
Mhm.
percentage raise on top.
When you,
So if we change this number to 2,800,
it. That'd be acceptable to me.
I would agree with that.
so Vicki, silly question, so you didn't pull these, when you did your hit for the 3 or 4, 3.5 or 5% raise or whatever you did, these people are in there, right? You didn't take them out because they were special raise requests, right? That's already in there.
Across the board match,
Yeah.
everybody. So
Well, we've
that-
actually pulled
that-
this out.
Just a little bit, because if you're not also giving the special, I'm sorry, if you're giving the special raises but not the across the board, that 792 will be going down. Like, say, if you give a $10,000 raise but not the across the board, if I'm understanding it correctly?
And?
Okay.
That was confusing.
Because in
That kind of
my
messed
office-
things up last time, though,
Yeah.
because there was people that their increase
One
wasn't as
that's
large
not.
as the percentage.
So, yeah, so we're going to say then that, for example, the administrative assistant, if we give her the $2,800 raise, she also gets the 4% or 3.5%. There I go again, talking about 4. But the ITS guy, we're going to give him $10,000. He doesn't get the 3.5? Is that what we're saying?
We would like you to.
We need to clarify.
Right, so,
Last year, your decision was if you got a special raise, you don't get the across the board unless the across the board.
was better.
Larger, right,
And we have that in one situation that jumped out at me
Yes,
right,
here. Veterans,
right.
better.
they'd be better off with the across the board.
Right.
Well, Vicki's request specifically was for the auditor's department plus the across the board. I want to make sure that we...
She was clever that way.
Well, when we do across the board, it causes more disparity where you have discrepancies in
It
certain
does.
departments.
Says large.
So
Yes, it
include
does.
them, is what you're,
Mm-hmm.
You know,
what you're saying is include them, Karen?
Yes,
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. Anyone?
we're still on these,
I would say include it,
yes, I would,
In, which one?
all of them.
Include the...
But it changes
Because
the number.
we're throwing off the balance of what's going
So
on.
instead of giving the ITS director $10,000, we're going to give the ITS director more like $1,300, or $13,000. Right? Is that what you're saying?
that isn't what I was thinking.
I'm looking at them as a whole.
That changes my, and I get that, when we're talking about parity, that's one thing, we're talking about, hey, I gotta get this guy up $10,000. I just wanna make sure that we understand that it's not $10,000, it's, you know, 13.
Yeah.
Does that make you feel any better
But
about
she
that raise,
had that-
Jeremy?
But she had them included, so she had a 4% included on that, on the spreadsheet, the director is. So it's really not $3,000.
Well, no, to his salary it is. It is
His
his salary.
increase is gonna be 13.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I was thinking this number.
Yeah, that's right, I'm more on.
Almost 14.
So take them one by one, and, I mean, if you want to add the auditor, do you want to go across the board? Or don't.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, that's,
Give them all.
You're right, because, like you said, the 10,000 is going to go to 13,000,
38.
but
Okay, well, there's no period here, and we've agreed to go halfway, so,
We're
we'll
looking-
leave it at the 10 for this particular department.
so the IT director would not get the raise percentage at the
Well, it
3.5.
doesn't sound like it's the will of the council.
Guys? People?
Well, I think I'm gonna double back around to that thought when we're done with the big number.
I think that's a good
So can we just,
Okay.
hammer through what we're willing to
So we
do?
have the commissioners, I'm looking for a motion for the 2,800.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we have the prosecutor for $8,100,
Account for
$8,119. What do you guys want to do with that?
Could we ask the same thing? Could we go half this year?
Or what? Over there.
Guys, for what it's worth, this is important enough to me that if you gotta quibble over nickels and dimes, I'll just pay it out of free trial.
Okay.
I don't wanna do it.
I'm not voting for it.
Erodes it, but, you know, I don't,
I'm not.
these two raises are important enough to me that I'm willing to absorb.
All right.
Okay, so we'll take that one off. Next up, we've got the Portage Township Assessor, $14,997 to request.
basically what Vicki was asking for.
So what are your guys' thoughts? What's everyone's opinions? What do you guys want to do? Do you want to ask her to work on that number? Do you want to give it to her? Split it again?
I guess I want to go back to Karen's thought. I'm okay with crest on its face, but I want to go back to Karen's thought about how does this compare to the county assessor's office and that pay. I guess I wouldn't want to be in a situation where we're, so, for example, the chief deputy over at the county assessor's office, what kind of salary does that person get? What is it? Total.
Total?
Yes.
$51,960 current.
And what does this one get total out of all the other funds?
The chief deputy doesn't draw all those, do they?
No?
The chief deputy in the township assessor.
Right, yes.
Gets $44,000.
Okay.
Okay, so we have that, okay.
And then let's talk about the level 2 and level 3. What does a level 2 and a level 3 over in the assessor's office get?
Currently, all level 2s get an extra $1,000
So what?
if you're working for the assessor.
So on average, what is their salary?
With
In the assessor's office.
everything added in.
Excuse me.
You mean for all the other deputies?
Yeah, over in, so if you just grab a level 2 out of the county assessor's office and tell me what that, don't give me any names, but just give me the,
Let's just go to assessment specialist. They're currently making, the base pay is just over $40,000 and $40. So you add $1,000 to that, so they're currently making $41,040. And these are just a few of the people I'm pulling out of the county.
so we're talking about level 2s and level 3s over there. So they currently make, say that again, $41,040 is a level
Yes.
2 or 3?
A level 2.
Two.
So she's asking for, on the level 2, to go to $41,904.
904, yeah. So above that. And what was the level 3, Vicki?
Currently, level 3 get an additional $1,000. So level 3 get
42.
$2,000 total.
So the level 2 would be $2,500 more, is what she's proposing, correct?
Say that again, a level 3?
Level 3's,
They get
she's
level
proposing
2.
44,904.
They get level 2 and level 3's pay.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
$100,000.
that's the part I was missing. Thank you.
The township ought to be similar.
I understand, good question. All right,
Okay, anyone else have any questions, or want to make a motion, or want to ask her to work on those numbers? What do you guys want?
I'd like to ask her to work on the numbers. I don't want to see
Is
one
this-
department
is this
getting paid
including their level
more
two
than another department, because then we have more problems.
This request,
Mm-hmm.
and then it wouldn't be including the level two.
I do, Jeremy.
Would you
Well, I
agree,
think we've
Jeremy?
asked the other
Sure.
departments to kind of half their requests.
Ms. Holter, if we divided these all in half, you can make it work?
I think she lost.
She's sitting back there.
Way back there. If we halved this number, if we took with your request of 5465 for the assessor and just 2,600, 2,700, whatever the half that
Half it.
number is, we would half all of these. Will you make them work? We can look at them again next year? Give you half the increase that you're asking for.
So you didn't even take the rest of the money out of my budget then, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure.
Or using the line item money.
We're asking if you'll take,
Yes, we've already approved your budget, so anything that's
Yeah.
done is done, yes. We haven't, obviously, second read it, but yes.
Okay, so you want me, so.
We second.
correct.
Read it, excuse me.
What would it make your total salary?
What would that make their total salary?
Well, are we talking about the level 2 and 3, which come out of the raise?
Is that what you're asking, level 2 or 3?
Raise on the county.
Right, for the raise to finish that.
Okay, can I make a point here? As she indicated, she has cut her budget to assume most of this increase she's asking for. What I'd like to see done is if you could rework these numbers to have some parity with the county. I don't want to see this office and the same job description making more than this office. To look at those county assessor salaries versus your salaries and request to equalize them.
when we're asking people to go back and work on numbers though, Vicki, when do you need this information?
Well,
She'll need it by the 30th.
Well, way before that.
final budget adoption.
30th.
30th?
It is the 30th.
Well, we haven't.
Thursday.
It is Thursday as of now. We need to change it, and that's what we need to discuss at the end of this meeting.
So,
But according to what Karen's saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but their chief deputy makes 47,300, or they're requesting 47,364. Our chief deputy makes 51.
so Vicki, when you gave us the number of what the hit to the general fund was, what we had left, did you already take in the 17 or 11,000 cut from her budget?
With a higher number.
She,
Oh, I thought it was.
did you take that into consideration?
bottom two, but not
Hold on a
the
second,
bottom.
we gotta know that.
Bottom two, yes.
Not on the second.
So we,
Because we only looked at the salary.
This is true.
What was the 4%?
yeah, but we were, as we were moving to second reading on these,
Right.
if their budget reduced, that helped us with what we had left in the general fund. So what I'm asking you is,
So, yes,
we already have that in there, so understand that if we approve this, it's not a wash, we've already taken the benefit of for seven,
That's what
the
I was
reduction,
saying.
so
yes, we have.
we're eating into that number, whatever we do
There is an
here.
additional to this number.
Right. Thank you.
Well,
So what are your guys' thoughts?
This is Porter County Treasurer, right here in this office.
okay, can I amend my suggestion to be with, because she did work hard to reduce her budget. Can we work within those parameters to do a salary structure with the number that you did reduce your budget?
Is it the 13-something, or that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Curious what the salary would be.
Well, that's what it'd be.
Well, we haven't
That'll
gotten
be
it
up to
yet. We're gonna,
how you're
we're gonna,
going to.
She's telling you, here's the number, the money that you have to spend. Now, you need to figure out how you're going to divide it between these four people, am I correct?
Mhm.
So what was that savings she put back into the general fund, Vicki?
11,380.
11,000
Yeah,
something?
11,
$4,000
Right, no, she cut 11,380 from her general fund budget, and if we just look at the special raises out of the general fund budget, it would add 11,365. So it's a savings of $60.
Does that seem like a solution? Yeah.
Can work with that.
So essentially, we're looking after special raises.
Explain everybody in
Well, we haven't even tackled the non-general funds yet. This is just talking about the salary increases.
Yeah, but she's got some little, that includes some stipends from the above amounts include increases to the level 2 and 3 stipends, which are paid out of Fund 1188. So total amount for the general fund is 11,365. It's the fine print. You always got to read the fine print. That's my legal advice.
Darn
That'll be
lawyers.
$300, please.
So you're just telling her, we're going to give her the 11,380 back.
That would be the end of that story. I'll make a motion to...
Second that.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second to give her $11,380 back. You'll divide it between the four.
No, her request does that.
Yeah, request does it.
Her request does that. Her request asks for 11,365 out of the general fund.
I see what you're saying. Okay, we've got a motion, we have a second. Are there any questions or comments? Sylvia, did you have a question? Did you have it? Okay.
No, I'm...
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we have the Soil and Water Director, Administrator, and Educator, an $8,000 increase.
What do we have?
So you see where we're at. What if we took that to $4,000? I know you explained to us in the last...
Sure, yes,
Well, we don't
well,
have a deal.
yes, I know, and I understand where you're coming from. You have a difficult job, there's no doubt about it, because there's only so much money. We face that all the time when we don't run out of money from what the county gives us. We have a fundraiser. I took on an additional job last year, uploading documents to a federal document management system. That's bringing $5,000 into the office additional this year. That's $5,000 we don't have to seek from you, so.
And you did that, right?
Yes, right. So every year there's something else. It all comes down to parity. I've heard that word tossed around a lot.
Seems to have stuck, so they're going with it.
Right.
Good.
Well, and I do 2 jobs. In LaPorte County and Lake County, my one job is divided into 2 positions.
Vicki, just for fun, where are we at on what's left? What we can increase, on what we've done so far?
We're close.
Yeah.
Sharpen our pencils.
Let's just double check.
I don't envy you.
We're getting there.
I know.
So you're asking what we have left to hit what we're going, 92,913.
What we have left?
Yeah, of the increase. So we started at 943 and 934, I'm sorry, and with what we've done so far and a 3.5% raise, she said we've got $92,000.
So we can't hit the 4%.
Well, unless we go back to the drawing board.
No, I'm just saying.
Close. We're close to going back to the drawing board.
Yeah, we're real close.
So what are your guys' thoughts?
You're asking for 8?
That's what the board decided on, yes.
Board out. I'll make a motion that we give $4,000 raise.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Thank you very much. I feel privileged and blessed to work for the
You
county.
got to wait for the vote before you start thinking.
Well, at least you're considered. And it's before 8 o'clock, This Is Us is on at 8.
This is us.
Anyone have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
4,000.
4,000 was the motion, yes. Next up, we have the Extension Office Manager, a $2,500 increase.
I wish everybody.
So, tell us what's going on real quick.
So our office manager has been with us for 28 years. This year we had staff change in our support staff. So during that time, she had to do both of those positions. We had to also change over some new software packages. I'm trying to get her raised up beyond, I would like to see her up above 40,000, so I asked for the 2,500 to get her raised up. After 28 years, she's still below 40,000, so she has a lot of responsibilities. She does an excellent job, and she's meticulous with our 4-H enrollment, so, and all of our 4-H leaders, so.
Wonderful. What's everyone's thoughts?
Well,
we've already given the 3.5%.
Which gets her close to,
That gets her
close
close
to
to
40.
40 with the 3.5%.
yeah, right.
What was that, I'm sorry? The 3.5 would be more?
Mike?
No,
it takes her
the
close.
3.5 would get her to 39,160.
So what if we made this an increase just of $1,000 and then gave her the 3.5 as well? Are we doing the 3.5 on top of these, or no?
That's
We
what
haven't gotten there yet.
working on right now.
Well, it should be over 40 if we gave her 1,000.
With
Yeah.
the 3.5
Yeah.
is what you're saying? That's what I was suggesting. That's not a motion, obviously, but my thought.
Is there,
That's what Mike said, that it was pretty close just with the 3.5 increase.
what are the responsibilities of this office, Annetta?
Pardon me?
What is it, what are the
She works with the 4-H.
responsibilities?
So
of the
she's the office manager, and she handles all of our support staff, so she oversees, takes care of checking time cards and paychecks, and does the books, the finances, as well
Yeah.
as 4-H enrollment leaders. So she does a bulk of our database management also.
Do you have a motion, Mike?
No, it hasn't been a motion yet.
I make a motion to increase from $2,500 to $1,000 plus the percentage increase.
Okay.
Second it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table and a second for, instead of the $2,500 increase, it's a $1,000 increase plus whatever percentage raise we give. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Okay, now, Vicki, where are we at? Say it again?
87,903.
87,903.
Okay, next up, we have Veteran Services.
We got that.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
the
that
business.
was, no.
The percentage is better than.
The percentage is better, so we're knocking that off. Now we're on to non-general funds. Do we
Well,
want to just discuss?
Yeah, before we get to that, can we go back to these and ask now, let's talk about whether or not we're going, it's clarified, so we don't have confusion as to whether or not they're getting a raise on top of a raise. Did we decide on the auditor? Did we vote on the auditors?
We gave them
Yeah,
74
The raise on top of the raise.
We did not discuss that.
We didn't discuss
Yeah,
that.
I don't think we've ever done
I
that.
thought we did discuss that they would get the increase.
We talked about everybody, but then we pulled Don out of there.
Right.
So what do you guys, do you want to give the increase on top, or, excuse me, the raise and the percentage increase? Right, but we didn't vote on the percentage part.
I don't know, what do you think? We've never done it before.
Never give them.
Because some people come before us and have
Do you
special
want to
raises.
do the percentage as well?
And their
all right,
paycheck
yeah,
is
that's,
way
yeah.
ahead of them.
No.
No?
I would
I don't.
agree with Jeremy on that. If we do the increase, that's quite a increase in salary. It's more than we probably,
Okay.
Okay, so for the auditor, we were saying,
Yes,
I second the motion. I'm going
I thought we were saying yes.
I don't know what we're saying, I'm sorry. I thought you said no. I apologize.
I was talking about
IT.
IT.
Oh, yes,
Mm.
yes, I would agree with that. So a very large increase. Okay, so we're not going to do it for IT. Do we need to take votes for this stuff?
No. we
Are we
So
going
We're not
one
doing
by
the-
one?
We're not doing the percentage for IT, correct? Do you guys agree with that?
I didn't even know that's what we,
We're discussing it now, and then we're going to finish up with a vote maybe on all of it.
I'm good with that.
Okay, and for the auditor, we are going to do it as the consensus? You guys, Karen?
why
Jeff?
don't we do it?
I think across the board, other than that largest increase, I'd be comfortable with.
We do it for everybody besides IT, the
Yeah.
IT director, correct?
I just don't know if is that amicable though? That's my question.
Works for me, but I don't know.
Yes.
I would like to say that he
Yeah.
deserves every bit of that raise.
He does, no, you're not talking.
We're not talking about that raise, no, we're talking about
Well,
the
you're saying
percentage on
that
top
it
of
was the
it.
biggest.
Yeah, but we're talking about
4%.
about whether or not we're gonna get 3.5% on top of it. That's what we're talking about
It
here.
would
So-
be
John, that
definitely
was
the
very
biggest at that
generous.
point.
But
And with that argument,
passed, so it's in there.
take it away.
No,
he said that, I'm not.
We're not taking the.
I'm not voting for that train's left the station, we're kind of.
So, right now, we've discussed, we're going to do whatever percentage raise we're going to do for everybody that we gave the raise request to, but the ITS director. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
Do we have a motion as such?
What's that do to remember, Vicki, if we do that? And we got,
Well, we're still at the same place, because that across the board was just for the across the board, not including the special. So if you add special raises, that's going to increase that.
Just a little bit, right?
7.258.
Right.
Okay, do we have a motion, or are we waiting for an answer? I'm sorry.
You want to figure that out for us? Can you guys do that?
Oh, it's,
How much, we do want to have a little bit left over for.
Can you just take the total amount we
that
increased?
train's
That
getting
train
more
left a
full.
long time ago, yeah.
You're kidding.
There's still something left.
About 75. About 75.
Well, we're
Yeah.
making an effort.
I know. I know.
yeah, about 80.
About 86,000 left?
Yeah.
So, would anyone like to make a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we've got a motion. Do we have?
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and second to do the special raises we discussed, along with the 4%, everyone besides the IT director, correct?
3.5.
And somebody said 5, excuse me, I'm sorry. Dan keeps saying 4. Okay, so any questions or comments?
On what?
Do you want me to repeat it again? I'll say
Yes,
it right.
please.
Okay, so we're going to be moving forward with the increases to all the special raise
Except for the
requests,
prosecutor pulled his back.
except for the IT director would not
And the
get
jail
the
and
additional
sheriff.
3.5%.
All right.
There's a motion, there's a second. Is there any questions or comments?
Oh, just on all the specials, right?
Just on all the specials?
Yeah.
Okay, hearing no questions or comments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Next up, do you guys want to move to the non-general fund raise request?
No,
Okay.
where are we at?
Well, she said we have about 86,000.
$86,000, so
So, look at the difference between.
80, so the difference in a 3.5% and a 4.5%
About $113,000, we have about 86. We could go back and cut something, or?
So what about 20 what thousand dollars difference?
Yep.
You just want to know the difference?
We're just looking, yeah, we're just discussing.
You don't want to go back.
Well,
You can never go back, Sylvia, never go back.
you can always learn
That's
from
true.
what happened in history. You
That's
should.
true.
But I really and truthfully think that we're saying, okay, you guys figure it out. See if we can go back, but being that what you just said, there's no way we're going to be able to make it.
324.
25,324? Yeah, no.
Who do you want to cut that we gave raise?
Who do you want to?
There you go.
I don't think we go there. I think we
That's
go
what
with
I'm
what's
saying.
been in this book.
Yeah, look at other.
Let's move that OE 25,000 request into the foundation budget fund, just a suggestion.
Wait a minute.
Because remember you gave
Yes,
us
wait,
5,000.
That's outside of that, I think. It's close, but it's out.
With the levy increase, and I feel it would be okay, but it's still in the budget, still going to count the total.
It doesn't affect dollar for dollar in the general fund, it just affects our ability for the tax levy. And if we ever hit that gap, we're losing money. But
So if we move that 25,000 over,
We're
Raise
still.
it. See,
It's 4%.
Getting close.
I make a motion.
Okay, we've got a motion on the table to move the 25,000
over to the foundation budget?
foundation budget.
Yep.
interest?
I'll pay the $300 out of
Dan,
my
Mike,
pocket.
thoughts?
Well, I mean,
Wait, what's she paying?
I'll write the $300. I think Scott said he.
you think we got the kind of cushion to get us to a 4%? I don't really want to push things into the foundation budget without having a discussion with the foundation.
Do we have
I
enough
agree.
if we went up to 25,000, the general fund? Can we,
You said you always build a little cushion in for things like
Tell us
FICA
about
and
the
PERF
cushion.
and those sorts of
We
things.
won't know that until we really.
You believe you got 25,000 in there somewhere?
So you can make the 4% work, is what
She's
you're saying?
got it, she's smiling about it.
I second the motion.
Come on, Sharon, get up here. We can make it work with 4%.
I second Karen's motion.
Dan's going, this is really.
Can we make it work with 4% across the board rate?
I'm seconded.
Mike.
25,000?
With
No.
the special raises that we
4%.
Yes.
That's what you said.
We'll crunch the numbers first thing in the morning.
Well, how long will it take you to crunch the numbers?
Right now.
So right now, okay.
Can we take a recess for?
Yes. Okay. 10-minute break? Thank you.
Yes. We're growing government, push it over into the, what if we get...
Hey, Scott, hold on.
Thank you.
Calming, calm.
And then I feel, thank you. That's so bad.
How you doing? 21, I know it's 21 more days. Everything there is to do now, let the things fall in.
Do you remember, did you and that answer should be yes, and whatever happens, out of your control.
I'm with you 100%. Now, personally for me, I'm a little different than I was 4 years ago. No more college kids.
Right.
So financially.
Right.
I'm happy doing what I'm doing. We have good yeah. What happened?
I talked to
well,
they're everywhere.
You do what you can.
Well, signs are a pain in the neck, and I have to share this, but, yeah, well.
And the ones that you saw,
Yeah, really. So some years ago, I was going out and fixing up the yard sign, and it was leaning sideways. And we had about, 50 signs that were knocked down. And it started outside, it's cold, and I'm crying, and I'm looking, and seeing people having dinner. I just can't stand it. But that's it.
40 years since the last election, when I would drive by, where the big sign locations were, all over the county, because we had bad winds. That was 4 years ago, and they were up 60 days. Another month was destroyed by storms. And I had to wood screws in 4x8 signs, and I would get blinks every time I would drive by the sign that I had to fix 5 times.
Well, we were with my check anyway, the firefighters love it. They made it 4 by 8, they put it 4 by 8 up, they fixed it 4 by 8, and they put it 4 by 8. So, I mean, that was presumption. Otherwise, you wouldn't.
That was the event 4 years, I didn't know anything about anything. Until Larry said, hey, he's 54 by 8. That is just not a because the 4 by 4 way, at least I had one stuff over.
When you get a store, when you get a day, hang in. Working hard, and I take a lot of time.
You know, maybe.
I do too, and it's made my community, and he's never done it, and he's never done it, right?
We are all, every day, because we live in fear of that, for sure. More people, correct?
Well, you know,
he's the only politician in history that can get away with what he does.
Absolutely, absolutely. He doesn't have to be politically correct. I just wish sometimes he would.
Or contractual.
We all,
yeah.
Take a break there, pal. But he creates all this craziness and all the houses. He runs stuff through that actually means.
I know, I mean, I think we're making a
What's the line?
everyone is
So what can we do?
Move the health insurance number.
Okay.
Move part of that to the foundation health number.
If you want to.
Part of the health insurance.
You're welcome. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna put a little more insurance in the foundation fund, a little bit less in the special, because we don't need that. That'll clear the general fund of the insurance, that much that we move the insurance. So for the foundation, that's good.
Yeah.
So, so with this says 905, we'll make it 950. Make it 950, we'll take the contractual down that much, so we'll take contractual down to 90. That's right, take it down. Make this 940, make that 90.
Yeah.
That needs to be less insurance in the general fund. We're there, let's go, come on.
Where's Andy? I got this number in my mind, we got to roll. All right. You understand, Vicki, we good? Where's Andy? Yeah. Would you set up at 35,000? 40,000? We'll take down the,
Their accounting.
what do you think, 90? What's in it? 125? All right, cool. 35. All right, I got the answer, let's go.
We got the answer?
Yeah, I do.
Done?
Let's go. So, all right, so here's the thought. So, Vicki, we just talked. So if we took, without making major, we're not going to increase the foundation budget or any of that stuff, but if we take that contractual line item from 125 down to like 90, take that down to 90. Add the 35,000 up to the insurance line item out of the foundation. That's $35,000 less we need from the general fund for our insurance. That's our $35,000. Does that make sense to everybody?
We haven't been using all that out of contract.
No, and we probably need, 90's good, you think? We probably make that work, right? For contractual out of that? That's just our auditors and...
Right. Compliance.
So
with that being said, I'll make the motion for 4%.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a second at 4% raises across the board.
I thought I did that.
Okay, I'll second
So
Carol.
Vicki, are you clear on this before we vote? You're good on this, right? So that's going to reduce the amount of insurance we need from the general fund by $35,000. If you happen to have the cushion you talked about in FICA and PERF, we can roll that into our insurance build-up.
Okay, so we just are reducing the insurance line item in the general fund by $45,000?
Right, make it 35,000. Would that be enough? Will 35 get us to the home plate?
So far, yes, 35.
If we need to adjust it again, let me know.
Right.
What do you think our auditors and all that will cost out of that, Scott? Do you remember? Was 90 a good number? Was 80 a good number?
It's still early in our compliance issues on the foundation.
Yeah, so that way it doesn't affect, normally I wouldn't want to jack the foundation budget, but we're not changing the number. It's the same number that we're budgeting in that foundation.
Okay, does anyone have any questions or comments at the 4% raise? Vicki, are you still working on something, or are we okay to vote?
We've repealed the 3.5 and we're voting on it.
Do we need a motion?
No, we just motion to 4.
We're good, Vicki? Okay.
Separate of that.
The last motion override.
Great.
Yeah, we're didn't stay, forget about that. Does your motion include not 3.5, make it 4? I assume that's a yes. Second concurs. You ain't getting 7.5%, folks.
Do we need a roll call for that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so Miss Vicki, roll call please at the 4% across the board. And Dan, that includes.
Across the board. Okay, Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Larson?
Yes.
Councilmember Witten?
Yes.
Councilmember Bozick?
Yes.
And Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. That's it. So next up, we have the non-general fund raise request.
I don't know if you guys all want to hang for this, but that's the show.
Thank you guys for coming. Give you a minute to clear the room.
Vicki, when they leave, I'll make the other motion.
May I have just a quick second?
Yes.
I know, in addition to the county as a whole, I'm sure everyone's appreciative, and I personally email you guys every year after this takes place, and that email every year is sincere. I have 22 employees that work for me, and we have a heavy load in facilities, and I get together with my team, such as I will tomorrow, and it means a lot. It really does. So I know it's across the board and everyone gets it, but coming from me, a department head, that it's genuine when I really say thank you. Seriously, thank you. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Well
Appreciate the good work.
Yep.
Okay, so now we are on to the non-general fund E911.
Are we good? Are you,
Can
have
we
more?
just clean up one remaining item in the general fund?
Is it gonna cost
We
us?
had the hourly rate request from $12.50 per hour to $13. It does not change the appropriation.
Thought we had to deal with that.
We said yes.
Yeah, I thought we approved that.
Yeah, we did.
We're good
We
with
got a
that.
motion on that, or no?
No.
Okay. No problem. Okay, so first up, we've got the E911 Mapping Database Coordinator, $1,430 increase, plus the across-the-board raise. The non-general fund. So are there any questions or comments on that?
Mike, can you just explain what you were doing with that?
Sure, you can be loud, whatever.
You can sit there.
Trying to do a lot of reorganization at 911. This is a position that, for whatever reason, is making $14,000 less than quality assurance administrator. Just trying to bring this person up. Last week, what, training coordinator and assistant director of security. Those two job descriptions are a little bit similar, and same with the GIS coordinator and the quality assurance. So that's why I'm making this request.
Okay. So,
I make the motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next to the county assessor, increasing level 2 and 3 stipend.
Goodness.
Back to the stipend.
And he's not here?
He's not here.
What do they currently get now? Say that again.
And how does it compare to
It's
township?
$1,000, and level threes get a total of $2,000, because level twos also get $1,000.
Is this, is this going to affect what we did tonight with Portage Township?
Well,
It's non-general fund.
Oh, yeah, but,
We still want parity.
yeah.
right.
Yes, because the township assessor was also asking for increases in the level two.
But she's only taking her level 2 to 15, and he's taking his level 2 to 2, correct?
Correct, yes.
So for parity, we should take the 15, I would
Yeah.
just recommend.
Just to clarify, so the township assessor would get the across-board raise, plus the special raise, plus the level 2 and 3 stipend increase. That was the question.
That's 3 raises.
The level 3 increase is a $3,000 increase, just for the level 3.
You always got to muddy the waters, Vicki. Thoughts?
What do you think?
No.
So Vicki, on this level 3 stipend, where the proposal is going from 1,000 to 3,000, were you saying previously that they also get the level 2 stipend?
Yes.
So a total of $5,000. And the township total is what?
Currently, or proposed?
That we-
I want to see them similar. I think they ought to be the same.
Yeah, whatever it
So-
is, they should
So
be the same.
currently, the request for level 2 in township is to go from 1,000 to 15, yes, to 1,500.
Okay.
And then the level 2 from an additional 1,000 to 3,000. So instead of the township assessors getting, instead, the proposal is for the county assessors, level 2s to get 2,000, and at the township level, the level 2s would get 1,500.
So why don't,
So
and this
for-
is a
for
shared
parity-
fund. This is their shared
Yes.
fund.
So if we wanted parity, then we'd say the level 2 would go from 1,000 to 1,500.
So you'd be reducing the county assessor request. not the
Yes.
Yeah.
township.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Reducing
That's
the
what I would
county
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which, from what she said, they were on board with that to begin with, and he changed it later.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a first, we got a second. Any questions?
And this is just on the level 2 we're talking about right now.
The level 2 from 1,000 to 1,500.
Okay.
We're not, you did not make a motion for level 3.
I did
correct? Confirm. Okay, any questions or comments about the level 2 stipend increasing from 1,000 to
That
1,500?
does affect the level 3, though, because they get the level 2 stipend
Right.
along with,
Yep.
okay.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same side. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we've got the level 3 stipend, $1,000 to 3,000.
Same process, Vicki. What did we approve previously for the township?
It's the same, their requests are the same, take it
1,000?
to 3,000.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think we've approved the township assessor one yet,
Okay.
unless you,
Why not?
did we?
Right, no, you didn't approve the.
No, it's right here.
Oh.
It's right below there. So maybe-
Oh, okay.
Just approved the special raises for the township.
Okay, so do we have a motion, or does someone want to change that number? You want to leave it 3,000? Or, excuse me, increase it?
Leave it at that.
No, I meant leave. Do you
So
want to
I
let
guess my
that-
question, but I guess the one question I've got, and maybe I just missed it, but with the Portage Township's assessor, she asked in the general fund for 14,900 or whatever it was, and we said, well, how about half, and this, that, and the other. But she's saying that increase includes the stipend, increases. So we did kind of approve this already. Because she said, I mean, unless you're telling me now that, gosh, we're going to give you half, and then we're going to give you another $1,000 on top of that, and then we're going to give you a raise on top of that. You see, we said, she said, I want $14,997, we said half, so in a sense, we have already addressed that. You see what I'm saying? Unless we didn't intend for that to happen, I'm okay to waive it, I'm just saying, we're throwing around some...
So in these numbers, she's got the stipend included.
Yeah, if you read her little asterisk...
She's not here.
I'm sorry, but that half discussion was...
It's done.
It's done.
It was gone.
We
We
gave-
went back to the
we gave her-
11,000.
Okay, so, yeah, but, all right, so we went close to her request of 14,000.
Right.
We actually went higher than half, and she's saying that her request included the stipend. So are we saying then, we're going to give you the 11,000 something plus the stipends? Which is basically what she's asked for.
That's what she was asking.
If that's what our intention was. I just want to be clear, because someone said we haven't addressed the stipends yet, but we really kind of have.
The 11,360 was the base pay, it did not affect the level 2 and level 3 stipends, because that comes out of the reassessment budget.
Yeah, but understand her request was for it to be
For all.
included, yes.
She wanted all of it.
Okay.
So we already approved Portage, is what you're saying?
Well, we approved it, yes, and now but not including the stipends, apparently, is what we did. We included raises without stipends and...
So they're taking the
You
level,
were just in the general fund.
they're taking the level 3 from 1,000 to 3,000. That seems like a large jump. Why don't we just take level 3 to 2,000? Just a thought, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then they'll still get the
They'll get a
1,500.
Yeah, or 15, yeah, because we just raised it.
Okay.
Yes, you're right.
So is there a motion?
So they're going from,
So moved.
And is that, to clarify your motion, you're talking level 3, and are you just talking county assessor, or you want to do Portage Township assessor? with
I
that?
think they both should be equal.
So that's your motion?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion, we've got a second. We're going to be increasing level 3 stipend for both the county and the Portage Township assessor from 1,000 to 2,000. Anyone have any questions or comments?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
So now you know, figured it out, Dan, so the
Motion carries.
township assessors get the one raise, and they get
Another raise.
then they get 2 raises if you're level 3, then they're gonna get the cross-the-board raises?
Now, we didn't cover level 2 stipend for Portage Township assessor unless your motion had that involved in it?
It didn't, but I make the motion.
Okay, we've got a
She's
motion.
reworking her budget, and it's not that it's a gift. You really have to work very hard and put in a lot of study
To
to
get that.
become a level 2, and a level 3 is, they're not a walk in the park. They're very, very difficult and detailed
Makes sense.
courses and tests.
I support it.
so it looks like we've already approved the level 2.
We did.
The level 3 is just going to change to what the county, 2,000 instead
Yes,
of 3,000.
yes, we've done that. We did not approve level 2 stipend for Portage Township assessor, which
That's my motion to
Got a
move it to
first.
match the
Mike,
county.
would you?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. We've got a first, we've got a second. Any questions or comments?
Okay.
But they're both.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up to the prosecutor. Again, a non-general fund raise request of $8,926. Two employees.
Moving money around.
I'm going to
Yeah, but you're moving money around to
Okay, we've got a
people for a
motion.
higher raise, right? That's what that is. And didn't we just give these folks,
Yeah.
isn't this 2 people we gave a
Yeah.
raise?
Yes.
Substantial raise?
We do have a motion on the table. Do we have a second? Mr.
I
Larson.
missed the motion.
Councilman Larson made a motion.
Yeah, I'd accept what he's got there.
Okay, second.
Okay, so we got a first, we've got a second. Please explain.
Well, as I explained, we had Mike Drent at a certain level because he was with the office 25 years and experienced all that type of stuff. He left, so that freed up some money, and I needed a substantial portion to fill his spot, and that left some money over. I realigned to make all of the senior prosecutors sort of consistent, so there's a parity argument that I'm making as far as Tammy Gregg's increase. And then, there was some money left over, and Cheryl moved up a spot, and so that's why I'm asking for that increase for her. More responsibility, is third in command than there was before.
So these are 2 of the short list of people you came in and got a fairly substantial raise for before.
Correct.
And now they're gonna
That was
get-
last year's for this year, that we approved.
Well, he got it out, and he got the retroactive, and it came after the budget session, and,
Oh, yeah,
don't you remember that?
all last year.
Okay. Is there any more questions or comments?
I would like a roll call on this.
Okay.
Said about a year and a half ago, help me remember, when,
As best as I can recall when that was.
that was right after the budget, that was in the
February, March time.
Right.
February, March. Because during that budget session, you didn't ask for raises for these people, so then you came back a couple months later.
Yep.
And tried to bring these up.
And obviously, I have, and I understand the argument that money's money, but, none of this is new money. It's money that we've had to hunker down and pay for out of discretionary funds.
And these people, the current way we've set it up, would get the 4% in addition to that, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Any more questions or comments?
Well, I'm going to ask the same question we've asked other department heads. Would you be willing, and this is the special fund, to go half, because they will be included in the 4% raises, and their salaries are high-end?
Here's the problem. The problem is I had to hire someone new to fill Mike Drent's spot, and it's not fair to Tammy Gregg that I had to pay more for him than I pay her, because they do, actually, she has more responsibility in the office. But I had to pay that amount to bring in someone, a quality person with a lot of experience. I didn't have a choice. And because I was able to save about $9,000 from what we were paying Mike, I was able financially to do that. But I guess what I'm saying is that for parity's sake, between my most recent hire experience, but not in our office experience, and Tammy Gregg, that's a big issue. So that needs to have parity for sure.
So she's the domestic violence deputy?
Well, she's a senior felony prosecutor, and that is an additional responsibility that she has, in addition to being a senior felony deputy. And as I said, then everybody moves up, and Cheryl Polaric would then fill in the third spot in the hierarchy in the office, and I think that justifies the additional pay raise for that spot as well. And it's no additional money. It literally is just taking the money that was approved and kind of moving it around a little bit.
Okay, is there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please, Ms. Vicki.
Councilmember Graham?
No.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Larson?
Yeah.
Councilmember Witten?
No.
Councilmember Bozick?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
And Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
5-2, yes.
Thank you, guys.
Can I just clarify that this is also in addition to the 4% rate?
That's correct.
That is correct, yes. You just lost.
And I want to thank you guys for that 12%. I know you worked hard at it.
Thanks, Brian.
That might be good as well.
You just lost.
You just lost.
Okay, next up, we've got juvenile probation, the probation officer, an increase, $3,579. $1,079 is a mandatory raise out of general fund, and $2,500 is a special raise out of $2,150.
I'll stick around for that. That's fine.
And this, the council may recall, this is for the drug court probation officer that Judge Harper and I discussed during our original budget hearing. I just want to make note that we are requesting the $2,500 and corresponding increase in FICA and PERF. It comes to about $471, I believe, dollars. That would come out of probation user fee, so that is a non-general fund, and we have the ability to absorb that and sustain that. So,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Okay, we've got a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
thank you very much.
Next, last up this evening, I believe, last up for the raise request is the Plan Commission Stormwater. And it looks like they are looking at a $34,480 increase for 4 employees.
They get $3 million.
It's all right, man. We just gave two of the nastiest people in this county the biggest raise we did tonight. I want to congratulate you and Jeremy on that. Well done.
Okay, so What's going on, guys? Good evening.
Good evening.
Go ahead, how about yourself?
Good.
So you guys want to kind of tell us what's going on with the increases, or you guys just bring in?
Can I say something?
To direct.
Please.
They haven't been compensated yet for taking over stormwater and bringing in everything under their umbrella. There's a highway engineer under there, RDC, that's now active, planning commission. There's a lot going on. We've got the $20 million project going on in South Haven.
Anyone have any questions, comments, motion?
I make a motion to accept the increases.
Okay, we got a first, we got a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Again, is that in addition to the 4%, or is this the?
I don't care.
Like the
It's not general fund money, I could care less.
It'd be, in addition to, we've done it with everyone except for one person.
That got a $10,000
Yeah, but there's two
raise.
$10,000 raises on here.
There you go. Well, let's put it this way. Don said he would
Can you
take
believe
his
it?
back. Do you guys want to take yours back?
Stupid.
You don't have to, I'm just saying that's what he did.
You have no idea.
Okay, that answers it, so, as far as I'm concerned, they can get it.
What are your guys' thoughts? Plus the 4%? I mean, I personally don't feel it's fair. We didn't do it for the IT, so I don't think we actually should do it for 4%. I think this should be the raise.
Take
My
my
opinion.
We started something tonight.
Pick your what? The 4%?
4% for me, I know I'm one of them. Yeah, fine.
You're in the
Go ahead.
stormwater budget.
I mean, the Stormwater Plan Commission and Highway
Right.
Engineering. I mean, yeah, that's fine. For the project manager that received it, fine, don't do the 4%. I will ask for it for the assistant director position,
That was
for
every
sure.
other step.
That's out of the 4 that received the raises, that one I feel deserves it.
Okay, just, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Give them a raise.
Gosh,
Who cares? Come on, it's not even general fund money.
It's not general fund, I just, that we
tired.
should revisit Don.
Give him a raise. We're giving money away. Give him a raise too.
That's general fund.
Give everybody a raise.
No, with what you guys are juggling around, I understand.
Okay, so we're
And
gonna,
this is in
This is a
very-
fee, this is a,
Not private sector, but public sector.
It's fee
it's
funded.
fee funded, we want the fees up, give them the raise.
so we're gonna give them the 4?
Yes,
All four of them?
All 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all four of them.
yeah. They haven't been compensated in a couple of years. It's really,
So we approved the increases plus the 4.
they've sat by the sidelines.
It's an investment into our future.
Thank you, guys.
Prove us right.
Okay, next up, we wanted to discuss the election equipment. James, you want
Just a point of order, remember when we were discussing the prosecutor in the general fund, he wanted, the $8,000 raises for the office manager and court manager, and he offered to take it out of the pre-trial version. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
How many other restaurants?
These raised are out of pre-trial.
Yes.
Okay. I just didn't think it was.
Yeah,
You're the only one here.
All right, so we kind of want to discuss where we're at with the election equipment. What are you guys doing? Do you have the money to pay for it? What's the plan?
Well, at this point, I think the board is going to just requesting, I spoke with JJ, he couldn't be here tonight, he's in Utah. But at this point, we're asking that if the rainy day funds are still preserved, hold on to that. We have a new clerk that's going to be elected here in another, 3 weeks or so. I think that person should have the input on whatever new equipment we decide to do, if we, whether we maintain or whatever, equipment we decide to purchase going forward. So, at this point, I think we're not really moving forward on the purchase at this time at all. We're just
Do we have the
kind of waiting.
time then? I mean, how, the new clerk gets elected, she doesn't take office until January, so.
Yeah.
The person doesn't take office until January. I mean, is that enough time?
Whoever it is can address the issue prior to January, right? I mean, I think you'd have that meeting.
Will it be
in
enough
advance.
time? I mean, the equipment, you guys have already picked all that stuff out, right, basically, so the equipment's the equipment, right? I mean, will we have enough time to purchase it and put it in service for the primary?
Yeah, three weeks isn't going to make a difference.
you're going to have time to install it and to look that over, but it still comes down to if that person wants to get that same equipment that we previously proposed. I mean, they may change their mind or have a different proposal, or how we even organize the process. So I think we should give that person the opportunity to make that voice first, before we assume we're going to get the same ones that we previously had selected, and at this point, we're just kind of preserving those funds.
And the pricing's protected on what they bid, correct, till the end of the year at least?
ESS has stated they would hold that price
How about the
so far.
how about the financing that we discussed?
Financing is not. I mean, financing is rolling with, based on whatever the current interest rate is.
And we have the down payment, and we just need to look at whatever financial rates are, and whoever our next elected clerk is has a huge job to really get up to snuff and quickly, because we would like your goal to be our goal, certainly, and to get it rolling out and have a soft run during the municipal elections next year.
Sure. That would be the best.
Very important. We don't want to be messing with this in a presidential year.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's either we try it next year, or we're going to have to wait until the off year.
So election night, you're going to be making a phone call and taking that person by the hand and going, come and look at this.
Sure, yeah. They'll definitely have a lot to catch up on.
So we'll reapproach this in the next month or two once the election's over.
Yeah, I think it's only fair. I mean, to give that new clerk an opportunity to look at everything first before.
Yeah, I missed the good stuff. There might be a different vendor they want, there might be a different, machine.
Okay.
Thanks for
Anyone
all
else have any questions?
Thanks for all that hard work. I mean, we know this has been getting tossed around, but to the point where we have to address it.
So far, it's easier than the races, right? I mean,
So this is an easy conversation.
Is that an easy one? But, no, I think that's only fair. Just let the clerk have a chance.
That's what, we just wanted an update where you guys were and what the plan was, so. Thank you very much, Mr. Banks.
All right, thank you.
Does anyone else have anything else?
Thanks, Dave.
Ms. Vicki, you have something? We're done, yeah.
We have some clarification.
Yes.
Okay, for all the people who did not ask for a special rate and are just getting the 2%, is it my understanding if they're being paid from different funds, we should take it out of the different funds?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay.
Where it's currently.
Well, your gut should be to look for the funds that aren't general fund,
Right.
if they're flush. Don't sigh.
Well,
That's your goal.
okay.
We gave them a 4% raise, they're being paid out of multiple
If
funds.
they're flush,
Some of them
probably
aren't.
won't. But like I'm thinking of animal shelter, they get paid out of different funds.
Right.
We should divide
That up,
4%
right,
into the
absolutely,
different funds.
absolutely.
Same thing with the foundation budget fund?
Yes.
Yes. And then just to clarify.
Things we can fix later.
Huh?
Those are things we can fix later.
Yeah. The highway department, part-time to full-time, did you approve that?
Discuss it.
You discussed it?
Yeah, we did.
Good. Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Stood up for something, Jeremy. We stood up for something. That's what I was answering your question.
No, we didn't vote on it.
We didn't vote.
I believe early on you talked about the highways and the expo.
Yes,
But I think there was a general consensus, I'm not sure a vote happened. And grounds.
Give a vote, give it, so yes on both. I make that motion. Yes.
That's three?
So it's three.
Three.
Second.
We got it first, we got it second.
Give
So,
away the
Does that do anything to us?
None of them are general.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments?
But it's somebody else's farm.
Highway.
Oh, it's okay.
You're right.
Hearing no questions or comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
I didn't hear Jeff's vote. What was his vote on that one? Motion carried.
but that list one, the new groundskeeper, is with the consensus that we reduce the
Right.
other line item.
That was something we had a discussion with Scott on, and was reducing the other line item.
Comes out of that 29.
It was 569 or something, we were gonna reduce that amount by 33,000.
Right. E911, you approved the restructuring. Remember, we talked about the restructuring,
And you specifically
reducing
said,
the
I'll follow your lead on
overtime
this one.
line item.
So I even
and
wrote
your,
down my thoughts.
uh,
It doesn't matter, dude. You just gave Jim a nasty
We're
motherfucker.
not
Down with
changing the
biggest raises.
salary for other than
I'm
the
so
4%
fucking mad right now. I
raise.
need to
Right.
But we're restructuring how you pay, where you're
I
not.
get it.
paying
I
out
get
the
it.
overtime line
I get what
item.
happened.
Right.
You have to.
You approved
We
that.
approved that,
Okay.
right.
That's going to affect the 140.
Right.
get it.
Right.
I'm just saying, so. Okay, was there anything else? Some goddamn man, thing you and I voted on.
When we
Giving
crunch
those
these
to
numbers
nasty
and we come up with it,
Thousands
we'll
of dollars.
share it with you.
Those toxic, nasty people in this county, we get the biggest raise.
Pull our hair out
Makes
again?
me just puke.
I don't have any left.
And just please include.
Does anyone else have anything?
To the general.
So, the only thing I'd like to say is that through the work tonight, I mean, it obviously isn't an easy process to go through, and unfortunately, it's a finite amount of funds that we have. We're fortunate, I think, in the last couple of years, where we've tried to address some of the inequities in the different departments, and tried to get more of that parity, whether it be administrative assistants or level 2, level 3s, and we've also been fortunate enough and been in a position where we've been able to give pretty significant raises over the last couple of years to the jail and to the sheriff's department, and
We didn't do
a
the
bit
jail.
previously,
Yeah, we've done the sheriff's department, not the jail.
the highway department. And so we've definitely addressed some of those most urgent needs or problems throughout the wages that we have in the county. We're not there yet. There's still disparity, and there's still things we need to work on. But when we talk about getting closer to where it should be, getting wages, they're still low as compared to where we'd like them to be ultimately for county employees. We'd like to be able to pay a heck of a lot more. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury. But for the last 2 years, to say that we've given an across-the-board raise of 4% last year, and we're giving a 4% across-the-board raise this year, I haven't followed the history on it, but I don't know when the last time we've been in a position where we've been able to do that, and do it in a very conservative, comfortable way. And so I think it's good to be done with the process.
We're in a good spot.
We do have one budget. We do have one budget still to address.
40.
We can address it right now.
And speaking of, we would like to change our last final reading to the same day as our regular meeting for October 30th. Does that work for everybody? Can we do that?
So, Scott, we haven't got an opinion back, is what, I haven't seen.
It's Thursday.
I think it's on a Wednesday.
The 30th is a Tuesday.
Oh, we're
We have a meeting this Thursday then?
not having a meeting.
No, that's what I was saying. We
This Thursday's
moved this
gone.
Thursday meeting to the 30th because we don't have an opinion. We still have to approve the 4D.
Frankly, if we don't have an opinion by the time we're ready to rock this out, I'm going to go on our attorney's opinion and roll with it. That's what I'm telling you right now. So
Well,
I'd like to get something from this independent. Just to let everybody know, I'm not shooting, in the dark here. I've had multiple meetings with our county attorney to kind of get some updates and kind of get some timelines and to make sure that we're all on the same sheet here with what we're expecting. What we will and will not discuss at executive sessions and that sort of thing. Wish Commissioner Goodwin here, I'd like to have that conversation further. But, what we hope to accomplish, and so I anticipate that we'll have an opinion we can roll with.
And the hope is we'll have this report with time to digest it 24 hours before this executive session. And I think Councilman Whitten mentioned that.
Yeah, we need a chance to review it and
Well,
discuss
and
it.
that's frankly why I'm waiting until we have it in hand to set it.
Right.
Because even once it's in hand, it's 48 hours, so.
All right, anyone else have any questions or comments?
So no meeting Thursday?
No meeting Thursday, we're moving it to
On
the
the 30th.
30th. We'll do it after our council meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds great to me.
You're looking for a motion to adjourn. Here, we got a first. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries.